up, guys? Robert here with another episode of Robert's Guitar Dungeon. I got a couple of, or actually, I got one one response from a video that I did last week on the TV Jones pickups, and the only response I think that I got may have been on I of course shared it on my personal Facebook page, and as well as a couple of guitar forums that I'm a member of on Facebook. And I think the only comment I got on that one within the first couple of days was one guy. I don't know who he was, but he says, he says, "How much for the Marshall straight cab?" First of all, that's not a Marshall straight cab. That is a Marshall slant cabinet. Just a good old-fashioned standard 1960 A cabinet. The ones that you see everywhere. And great cabinet, but it's not for sale. Nothing that you see pictured in this room is for sale. And if it is for sale, I won't be posting anything for sale on my YouTube channel. Either check for anything that I may or may not have for sale. Please check eBay or my local Craigslist, or Reverb. So, this is not a for sale forum. Most of my gear is not for sale. This is just just my own personal channel for me to talk about gear and interact with people a little bit. So, that being said, I'm actually not holding a guitar in my hand today. This is a bass, and the first thing I'm going to say is I play bass about as well as most rhythm guitar players play bass, and that's exactly how I play it. I currently play bass in a band, and we play southern rock and classic rock covers, and for the most part I play with a pick and follow the root, and and I don't step outside that box a whole lot, and that's about the extent of my bass skills. But I have a friend of mine that is several friends of mine, but one in particular, who has an insane collection of high-end basses, and he said, feel free to do a review on one of my Foderas, and I told myself in the beginning I was not going to review anything this high-end because this is as high-end as it gets. But the truth of the matter is this is such an amazing instrument. I couldn't, he basically had it in his hand and said, "Here, take it, do what you want to do with it for a little while." I couldn't say no. So, this is a Fodera. This is a Fodera Emperor Deluxe 4, I believe. And if you are not familiar with Fodera basses, again, I will reiterate, this is as high-end as it gets. Fodera started in 1983. Vinny Fodera started the company, along with he had a partner who was who was an experienced studio bass player in the New York City area. And the two of them got together. Vinny had some experience building basses for Spectre, I believe. So the two of them got together and started Fodera basses. And like I said, I think they're about the highest end basses on the planet. This bass right here, brand new, is about $13,000, and on the used market right now as it sits, it's worth right around $7,000 still. They're, you can find them used. They're out there all over the place. Check Reverb, check eBay. They're out there, but they're extremely high end and extremely expensive. To be honest with you, they're too rich for my blood. Chances are I will not. I don't know that I'll ever own something like this, but still a very, very cool instrument, and they're very, very high end. I did some research on both on Fodera's website, and I checked eBay. I think the most inexpensive Fodera that I found on eBay was a model called I can't remember the name of the model now off the top of my head, but it was essentially their jazz bass model, and it was definitely more of a production model than this. Used, I think the cheapest one I saw used was about $2,000, and I've seen, I set the my eBay search parameters. I just searched for Fodera bass, and set the parameters from lowest to highest. And the first one that came up that was actually a Fodera bass was, like I said, about $2,000, and they went all the way up to 13, 14, 15,000, and everywhere in between. So they were really popularized by a very well-known bass player by the name of Victor Wooten. And Victor has a brother that plays with him named Reggie. And Reggie actually plays Fodera guitars. I had the pleasure of seeing them live about 2 years ago in a jazz club here in town, and they're phenomenal. I cannot make this thing sound like Victor Wooten, so if you got your hopes up, you might want to lower your expectations a little bit here. You cannot, if you're not familiar with these, it doesn't surprise me. You cannot walk into a Guitar Center or a Sam Ash or for the most part any music store, and look for a row of Foderas hanging up, for people to buy. If you want a Fodera, you pretty much got to go straight through Fodera and order them direct. They like to boast that no two basses are ever the same because they're all custom built. That's true, and they play like they're custom built. So, but like I said, if you're going to buy a Fodera, you're going to be ready to spend some money, but you're also going to be ready to get exactly what you want, and most likely exactly what you've always wanted. This thing has about a gazillion knobs and switches on it, and I was kind of fooling around with them a little bit, and I got it set to where I want. I'm not entirely sure what everything does. I think the big knob here, I think is a pickup blend. That's all the way on the bridge pickup. That's all the way on the neck pickup. I kind of had it set right in the middle, so it's running both of them. This is a stack knob here. The inside of the stack knob, I believe, is a master volume. The outside, don't really know what it does, to tell you the truth. I just kind of ran it wide open. Then these switches, some of them seem like a kill switch. That top one I think is a mid boost. As I definitely hear the difference in mids when I switch it down. It seems to kind of scoop out a little bit. Then when you flip it up, the mids kind of come right back through. So, it looks like an ash body with a flame maple top on it, and probably a flame maple neck of some kind. It's a set neck version of some kind. I'm not real sure about exactly how it's constructed, but I can tell you it's constructed extremely well. Like I said, this is probably one of the nicest basses this is definitely the nicest bass I've ever had in my possession, even if it's, admittedly it doesn't belong to me, and I'm going to be giving it right back to its owner here by the end of the week. But anyway, I'm going to play around on this thing for a little bit and kind of let you hear how it sounds, and yeah, we're just having a little fun today. So, I'm still recording with the Tascam DR40. I am actually playing through my acoustic B450 combo, and again, the DI on that is running straight out into the Tascam, as well as an ST51 Sterling Audio ST51 condenser microphone. So. let's try that same riff without the mid boost on. See what it sounds like. Just see the difference. Very cool. Very cool instrument. Very cool bass. Very, very cool. The first time I ever played a Fodera, a young kid had one, and he, some young kid. I can remember his first name, and that's all I knew about him, just because he'd been in a few times. But he walked into Guitar Center and was basically, seemed to be pretty much selling all the gear that he had, because he made several trips in, and one of the last things he sold us was his Fodera bass, and it was that one was a Monarch 5 Deluxe, I believe. Different model. I couldn't tell you exactly. The body shapes are a little bit different, but that's about the extent of my knowledge on it. I remember plugging that bass in, and I was just absolutely blown away by the tone. I had never heard anything sound like it before. And ever since then, I've always had a very, very strong appreciation for bass, for Foderas. And when a buddy of mine let me borrow this one, he got into them, and so next thing I know, he's got a stash of 5 or 6 of them now, and it's about all he plays. And I see why. If I ever become a real high end bass collector, one of these is probably going to be at the top of my list. So, like I said, as far as picking one up, be ready to spend some money, but be ready to have probably one of the most satisfying instruments that any bass player could possibly want. So they're out there. Go check them out on the used forums. Or go check out Fodera. Fodera.com, I believe, is their website. www.fodera.com. That's FODERA.com, and see what all they have to offer. So that's all I got. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.